Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. We have just watched West Ham win 3-1 against FCSB. I am joined to my right by Lucas from the US of A, and bottom of the shop is Tom from Yorkshire.
No.
Lucas?
No.
Well, via Yorkshire. But
I'm in Yorkshire,
yeah. Lucas, how are you, mate?
I am good. Just trying to enjoy the best of that match as I could after all the news and events that occurred today.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to speak about that shortly. But Tom, how are you doing, mate?
Stressful few hours for the last few days. But thankfully, a somewhat decent second half performance has made me feel a little bit better. I can't lie.
Before we get started, we've got to address it. The Queen has sadly passed away, mate. I don't know what to say, really. I really don't. It's a somber moment. Like, tonight's game was very somber from West Ham. Like, take football out of the equation, it just didn't feel right. But one thing I will say, big up to every single West Ham fan in that ground tonight singing the national anthem. That was a touch of class, that was, from us. And listen, I always say it on this fucking channel, we've got the best fans on the planet. And to go out and start busting out the national anthem was epic, really. What did you make of that, Tom?
Sorry, it was just you swore within the first 3 minutes of the show.
True.
It was nice. It's going to be weird, obviously, because in 12 days, 2 weeks, or whatever, we'll be singing "God Save the King." So I mean, I'm pretty sure for everybody here, of a certain age, this has been our reigning monarch for most of our lives, if not all of our lives. So it's a weird moment. I never thought it would be emotional as it has been, especially for some people. But I think it's just, I would describe it as weird. It's not like anything I've experienced before, because obviously Lucas would be aware, but everything changes to black on the BBC and all the other news outlets, and everything has to be reported at the same time, and then obviously everything changes. Yeah. We've not experienced that.
Listen, I'll tell you, it was not on my life bingo card that I would know everything that happens when the Queen passes.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
So I am fully aware of what's going on.
But first things first, before we get into the game, was it right to play the game tonight, Lucas, in your eyes?
I would say I don't know if yes is the right terminology, but it did happen so sudden that I feel like you didn't have to play it, but I think it was still all right to have the match played. This weekend is a whole different story because, like I said, I do know the process of everything that happens after the Queen passes away. I don't know when this mourning period starts technically, so we could potentially go a month without Premier League football because of the international break in 2 weeks. So I don't think it was bad that the match was played tonight. I'll say that just because it happened so sudden. If this happened yesterday or Tuesday, I don't think the match happens.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Tom, what about you, mate? We'll get started.
Just much the same. I think it was kind of a bit late in the day at that point for everything to kind of come to a halt. I think this weekend, I think it should be postponed. Coincidentally, obviously the rail strikes and everything, I think most clubs should have called the game off before the Queen had even died, for how difficult it was going to be for fans to get away next weekend. So I think the 12 days of mourning, if that starts sort of tomorrow, I think you should obviously abide by that, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing until the international break, to be honest. But it should be nice in a way, because then I think the first sort of recognised sporting event would be singing the national anthem. And
quick
England
question,
playing,
Fever. When Princess Diana passed away, do you know, did the period of mourning start the very next day or the same day?
Oh, 1997 that was. I'd only been 11.
I was 2.
I think it was everything shut down, if I remember rightly, when she died. Sort of everything was everyone was in state of mourning.
Yeah.
obviously that was a long time ago, and times have changed, and I can understand it if things need to progress because everyone's getting over COVID and all that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's a tricky one, but I do agree with Tom. I think this could go on for.
That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if the mourning period didn't start till tomorrow or Sunday, technically. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we most certainly do, mate. R.I.P. to the Queen, mate, and the family. Were grandsons and great grandsons and daughters and everything. Do you know what I'm saying? It's hard to lose anyone at the best of time. And I do agree with what Tom just said before I get to start these player ratings. We've grown up with her. My parents have grown up with her. Do you know what I mean? And
your grandparents have grown up with her.
Yeah. A lot of people have grown up with her, and it just seems like it's an end of an era, basically, now. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, no matter what you think, even to reach a platinum jubilee, that will never happen again, and we did witness history.
Yeah, and that is it. That is it. So R.I.P. to the Queen, man. Let's start off with this man. Alfonso Areola. Tom, I'll start off with you. Assess his performance tonight for me.
I didn't have a lot to do, I don't think, other than sort of a couple of saves now and again. I'd probably have to go back and re-watch it if anything. I don't think he was at fault for the goal. Obviously, we'll get on to the person that was. I thought it was a standardish performance. I'd say he didn't keep the clean sheet, so I'd give him a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I'll go next. I agree. Everything what Tom said, 6 out of 10. He did make a good. He come out a couple of times and sort of saved the day for us. He really did. I remember in the first half when the ball came over the top and he was out, he was alert. Second half, ball comes across the box and he's out, he's on it. So yeah, I'll give him a sort of high 6, but just not a 7 for me. Lucas.
Yeah, got to give him a 6, really, just because he didn't have a lot to do. The goal wasn't his fault, and like Tom said, we'll get to who the perpetrator was of that goal.
He's probably next, isn't he?
But not a lot to do today. Can't put the goal on him, and he did come out and make a few good sweeping clearances when we needed them.
Yeah. Moving on to this man, Vladimir Coufal. Tom.
Yeah, not great. Yes, he looked to get forward a lot. Obviously, I think for me, he was at fault for the goal. He caused the entire defence to shift over, which left Emerson covering for Ogbonna covering for Kehrer trying to cover for Coufal. So, look, he looked to get forward a bit more, but again, his end product, I think most of them tonight, their end product was woeful. Corners not beating the first man, set pieces not beating the first man. But he tried to help. Maybe not so much with overlapping, but he tried to support the likes of Bowen and Benrahma a little bit, obviously, before he came off at half time. So I'd give him. I'm going to be harsh on this one for him, but I'll give him a 5 tonight. I don't think he was all that.
I'll go next. I think you're being fucking kind, bruv. And I did swear there, Lucas. I'll give him a 4, mate. Absolute shocking for me. Yeah. Can't cross. How many times did I think Paqueta found a ball to him in the second half? Yeah, finds him acres of space. He's got time to cross the ball. He overhits across. I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, Coufal, what are you doing? He's out of position. He's at fault for the goal.
Can I say Richard really quick in the chat where he says as James has gone very dark.
Go on,
that he was woeful. Can we agree that when he has a bad performance we call him wofoul?
Yeah.
Like that
he
one.
was mate. Wofoul was in the house tonight. Definitely 4 out of 10 for me. Lucas.
Yeah, it's I don't know. His performance was a 4 for yeah, I think Tom might be a bit kind tonight. I'm gonna probably go with a 4 because his crossing was just
which is mad because again that first season with us, we were saying how good his crossing ability was.
I will say this though, his crossing was not good tonight, but as in like the final destination of his cross was not good tonight. But I could tell tonight his crosses had a bit more swerve on it, which is good to see because normally he doesn't have a lot of that on his crosses. He
the thing is,
puts the sucker in.
I could go over the park on Sunday, find someone who's been out on the piss on Saturday night, who could whip in a better cross than Coufal at the minute.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a bit of the positives in such a negative performance for him. But yeah, in the goal, all his fault. Just put everyone in a bad position to concede. And I tweeted it today, and I don't really feel bad about it. I kind of am looking forward to the day that Thilo Kehrer becomes our right back.
Might be soon with Aguero coming back. He was on the bench tonight, and he's out of his boot. So
Aguero was on the bench tonight?
Well, not on the bench, but he was with Cresswell and Johnson. That was the first time I'd actually seen him in the London Stadium. So
that's good. That's good news. Lucas, what are you giving him? 4 out of 10?
4, yeah.
Yeah. Move over to the other side, left-hand side. Emerson. I'm going to start off with Lucas on this one because Lucas, what's your thoughts?
This is a very strange one because it was a roller coaster for him tonight. He had a very bright first 10 minutes. Then he had an absolute horrific downfall for the next 60 minutes or so. And then obviously he scored the eventual winner, or not the winner, but to get us ahead. But still, I don't think he was that good tonight. I do have to say this though. I like his positive and forward play. I really enjoy that a lot because we don't see that with Cresswell. And he does carry the ball quite decently. No, he's not going to really dribble the ball past people or do anything very flary to get by, but he carries the ball decently. He can get by somebody with the basics, which I do enjoy. But this is a tough one for me. He scored. His defending was not good tonight. Not good at all. He had at least 6 fouls. At least. And
the one he got booked for wasn't a yellow card.
And to be fair, those Romanians were making absolute meals all night long. They went 1-0 up, and they just started time wasting as much as they could. It's tough for me, very tough. For me, I'm gonna give him a 5. I'm gonna give him a 5. If you gave him a 6, I really wouldn't bat an eye, but for me, his defending was not good tonight. In general, his passing wasn't great, but he did score, so that's the bright spot. So, I feel disgusting, but a 5. I think it's fair.
I'll go next. I'll give him a 6. I think take the goal out, he gets a 5 or if not a 4. I think he scores the goal that gets us basically in the lead. So you've got to give him some credit there. He's in the right place at the right time. He's following the ball in. He's not ball watching. So you've got to give him credit. I agree with everything you said about him in the first half. 10 minutes, he was good. Back end of that half, he was all over the place. I do like Emerson, though. I like his forward progression. Now, maybe he's not a left back. He should be a left wing back, but that's a different story for another day. But today, I think if he don't score, he gets a hammering from the fan base, I believe. So you've got to give him some credit. He scores the goal. It gets us in the lead. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Tom?
I think I'm about to annoy everyone. Yes, I think he had his bad moments. I don't think he was helped with the yellow card. Obviously, especially with this referee, as I kept hearing all game, he's one of the strictest referees in Ligue 1 last year. I think his last Champions League game,
he let a lot play on as well.
Well, I don't know which commentators you had, Lucas, but in his Champions League game last month in the qualifier, he handed out 3 red cards and 3 penalties in the same game.
Jesus.
So I actually think he was actually a half decent ref tonight. Yeah. I think he did let a lot go, and he was, other than maybe the one that Cornet got booked for and Emerson got booked for. I don't think
some fouls, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him a 7. I think the goal was good.
Tom.
I think the goal was good. I think his all-round defensive play, again, I don't think was helped by the yellow card, but I think there is a really good player in there. I thought for me, in that first half, up until sort of when the goal went in and afterwards, I think he looked a little bit shaky. But I think
if he doesn't score, though, Tom, if he doesn't score the goal, what would you rate him?
I'd have given him maybe a 6. I think he's more aggressive and positive in the challenge than Cresswell is.
I can agree with that.
I think I think he brings a better balance defensively and offensively as well than Cresswell does, because I think he has the work rate to get back and defend well. But I think simply for the fact that he did score the goal, his set piece as well, that he did take a couple of set pieces, or maybe from the free kick or whatnot, wasn't amazing. But I don't know. I think for me, there is a good player in. I think he will end up being a very good buy for us, and I don't think he's a bad alternative. The only reason I'd say that, as I flick my headphones, I'd only said a 7 because of the goal. And if he hadn't had the goal, then maybe a high 5 or a low 6.
I will say for what we bought him for, I do think it could be a bargain with the qualities he brings. That contrast.
I think going forward, he's a breath of fresh air. It is defensively.
I don't think he's bad defensively. His positioning for me may be a bit questionable, but
no, the other day at Chelsea, I thought defensively, he was brilliant. I thought he helped when we created and maintained that shape for 75, 80 minutes. So I can understand, or maybe let him off a little bit tonight. Like I said, I think in the long run, I really don't think he's a bad Cresswell replacement.
Again, these ratings are just for tonight. I mean, I have high hopes for Emerson from what I've seen so far.
Fair enough, mate. Moving on to another Italian, Angelo Ogbonna. Tom, take it away.
Wasn't impressed.
He's not fit.
No, he just listen. He had some good moments, but he had some bad moments, and he had some rash moments. And I think Ogbonna pre-injury was one of the top 10 centre backs in the league. I thought he was that good, especially sort of the year before we got in, or when was it? The year we got into Europe. I think he was, when we had Lingard, I thought he was excellent that season. I thought genuinely one of the best centre backs in the league. But tonight, he seems to get caught out of position far too much. And I think when you've got other players like Kehrer, like Emerson, who does look to go, well, I'm trying to put this in the nicest possible way. His recovery, he stands out more, I think, now post-injury than he did pre, because he's lost a step. And like you said, I know you've been banging on about it since pre-season when you saw him. I don't know how bad he was then. He must have been pretty bad, because even though now, like I said, there's still some of the intelligence is there, and there's sometimes that centre-back, but he's just not the presence before his injury. And I feel so bad for him, because he's been such a great servant to us for the last 7 years. Genuinely one of my most favourite players that we've had in recent memory. But there's just a couple of times tonight where he's just a little bit rash, and he just positionally just wasn't great.
He's lost his awareness. That's what he's done.
And it's difficult at that age when you're coming off of that kind of an injury. It is incredibly difficult. And I am sympathetic towards him, but he's just not the same Ogbonna. Or at least he's not fit enough and back to that point yet. So I'll give him a low 6, high 5, somewhere in between there. I don't think he was the standout of the two centre backs. Yeah,
I'll give him a high 5, just not a 6 for me. I agree with everything you just said.
Give him a high 5.
Basically, I said it a long time ago. I said this geezer they're rushing him back because they've got no one else. And tonight, he's getting done by like Romanian centre forwards and things like that, where he should be dominating really.
And the thing was as well in that first half, I'll just quickly say, the Italian striker that they had on before, he got taken off in the second half. He wasn't exactly the quickest, and he wasn't exactly the most mobile of centre forwards either, and he was struggling to deal with him at times. And I think that was more alarming, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I called it 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it's coming true right now. We need to get either a centre back fit, ready to go, who's a bit younger, like someone like Dawson or something, and let Angelo sort of progress in the background, sort of thing. Lucas.
He has definitely lost a step, but I still think his positioning and his awareness, like his game IQ, is still there. But when you lose that step, it does seem to look a bit worse than what it really is.
I agree.
And I do agree. It does seem that we're rushing him back because we don't have a lot of healthy center halves. And seeing Craig Dawson come on tonight was a breath of fresh air. Hopefully he is back to fit and Ogbonna can slowly progress back. Because I still have faith in Ogbonna that if he gets back to full recovery, he will be very solid for us still.
I don't think he will, which is a shame because I just think he's at the wrong end of his career for an injury like that. But I'd still keep him around as a squad player because if he can get back to fitness, I think if he can get back to fitness, I think FA Cup and sort of League Cup, he'd be decent enough for us. But I think the rotation of centre backs for us in Europe and the Prem has to be Kehrer, Zuma, Dawson, and Agued for me. That has to be the main four, and Ogbonna is the fifth for the FA Cup and thingy games.
If he wasn't Italian, I agree with you. I think our defense looked really bad because our attacking third today was not very solid, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him a 6 because I don't, again, like I said, I don't think our defense was really that bad. It just our attacking third just created a lot of counterattacks for Bucharest.
Fair enough. Moving on to this man, Kehrer. I'll go first on this one. Strange tonight, in my opinion.
I thought he was okay.
I thought he was okay, but he just amount of times he give the ball away, it's unlike him. Do you know what I mean? I've seen enough of him this year to know that this geezer's pretty decent with the passes and all that, but he gave the ball away a few times and out of position a few times. I'm going to give him a high 5. Just not a 6 for me. I really am. I think he was the same as Ogbonna tonight, if I'm being honest. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I see what you lads think, but I didn't really see much of him tonight. I think
it's a little harsh. I don't think you're wide off the mark. I'd give him a high 6. I think he was better than Ogbonna, and I also think he seems to struggle more there. I saw playing tonight with Ogbonna than he does with Zuma. But I still believe his range of passing and his mobility as a centre half is brilliant. I do think he had a tough night though, because their striker did, physically at least, not in pace, but he did cause them a few problems that he sort of missed a couple of headers and that. But I don't think he put a foot wrong, really. Like, nothing major, I would say. And there was a few times that he did save us because of his recovery pace. So I'd give him a high 6, but I don't think he was good as he was or has been the last few weeks of the season tonight. I will say, the rain tonight was pretty torrential, so it's going to make it a little bit slippier and tough in defensively. Yeah. So I think I'm not trying to do a Jurgen Klopp here, but I don't think that helped either team out there tonight. It was very, very wet.
I'm going to agree with Tom. I'm going to give him I'm not going to give him a high 6, but I'll give him a solid 6. I do think he was better than Ogbonna, and like I said earlier with my rating for Ogbonna, I don't think the defense was terrible tonight. I think it was just created a lot by the counterattack, starting with just our terrible quality of shots in the final third. Our chance creation wasn't bad, but just our shot quality was really poor. And I think that's what really could have made our defending look a bit dodgy and bad, but not from what I saw. So I'm going to give him a solid 6, a bit better than Ogbonna.
Solid 6 for Lucas. Moving on to this man, Flynn Downs. Whoa, what performance. Lucas, take it away.
Yeah, I think we were all excited to see him in the starting lineup tonight. Because for me, I like Flynn Downs a lot, and from what I've seen, I know what he can offer to this club. But just from before the match, me personally, I don't think he had a better preseason than Connor Coventry for me, which was just a bit worrying, obviously, because you pay £12 million for someone, and they don't seem to be better than a reserve that you sent out on loan twice. But tonight, and credit to Tom for what I'm about to say, or actually, no, I'll let Tom say it. But I was very impressed with Flynn Downs tonight. I wanted him to be a bit more adventurous passing the ball because he is a good passer, and I thought he kept it very safe and basic, which isn't bad. But there were a handful of times where he could have played a ball I know he can play, but he just didn't. But he was very tight on the ball under pressure, which I really liked a lot. Like I said, I'll let Tom do the comparisons of what I agreed with him. Very tight on the ball, moved around well on the ball. Very good passing tonight, and good work rate as well. I personally am giving him my man of the match because I just thought he was outstanding tonight. I'm going to give him a 8. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Drain the hole, Hammers. Thank you very much, mate, for your £1.79. Our players look lacking of I think it's confidence.
Cohesion.
Dan's 9. I agree with him on that. I'll go next on the Downs and leave Tom till last. Flynn Downs, man of the match for me. Brilliant. 9 out of 10. I like the way he sort of got amongst everyone, like dogged, won the ball back, always looking for the pass forward. I like him in that little anchor role where he sits there and just holds everything together. Yeah, and he sprays the ball out to the attacker to do their job, basically. So, yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. And I think David Moyes said he wasn't good enough.
You can see the potential in him. You can definitely see why Moyes bought him. And
I see a comment here where someone said that Moyes apparently didn't think he was good enough at present. I can't remember where it is, but it's on there somewhere. And 9 out of 10 for me. Tom?
Yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Man of the match for me. Thought he was absolutely superb. Thought his ball retention was absolutely brilliant. I thought he didn't try to overcomplicate things. Like you said, he just tried to anchor in that midfield, but he did pop up in the right sort of spaces to help in the attacks. The short passes almost just to act as that middleman between attacker and forward. Sort of give the ball to me, I'll give it to you back. Nothing too major. Basic, but he got most of it right all the night. I was pleasantly surprised by him, especially after what David Moyes had said this week. And for me, I don't know about you, James, but I don't know how much of this sort of Lucas knows, but there's always been, since like Scott Parker, and Mark Noble learnt it from Scott Parker, and I've seen Flynn Downs do it a couple of times tonight, that little pirouette in midfield just reminds me so much. It reminded me so much of Mark Noble tonight. Genuinely, that is exactly the kind of stuff that Mark Noble used to do. I
think he does it better than Noble, though.
Well, yeah, and I would say his mobility is very, very good, and I think it's a lot better than Souček's is. And I think in a Premier League game, he may struggle a little bit yet, and maybe the Prem be a little bit faster for him, against some of the better teams.
But you can just see it in him. You really can.
I think there's definitely a future for him at this club. But I think, like I said, sometimes tonight I was looking at him and I thought there's a little bit of Mark Noble in him there. And I was, like I said, I think after we'd all seen Moyes' comments about him saying he's not ready, I think most of us were actually really pleasantly surprised at how good he looked tonight. So, yeah, man of the match.
And from that comment from Hammerhead, not as creative as Noble, but I think that will come out of Flynn Downs once he gets more comfortable at the club.
I think when he gets bigger and stronger, I think he'd be flawless for us.
And I can see why his pass completion percentage was so high at Swansea, and that is because, like I said, he doesn't try and do anything extraordinary, but he does the basics really well. And even if it's the little 5-yard passes or dropping into the hole to receive the ball and helping sort of move the play onward, I thought he was fantastic at that. So 9 out of 10 for me. I thought he was superb.
I agree. 9, 9, and 8 from Lucas. Moving on to this man, Declan Rice. Tom, take it away for Declan.
First half, not amazing. I wouldn't say that. Second half, when we made the subs, especially after we scored the goal, showing a bit more impetus. I want to sort of talk about the team in itself. I know this is sort of the player ratings, but I'll just say it now quickly. Like, as a whole, it really annoys me that we wait until the first goal has gone in to actually have a bit of zip about our play and show some intensity. I don't understand it. Like, as soon as we scored that goal with Bowen, all of a sudden it was like the switch went off and players were pressing from the front. Rice was looking to push the ball a bit forward, a bit more. I think we gave him so much respect, as we have done to so much of the opposition at the start of this season. We just give them too much respect. We're the better team out there. Just play with a bit more confidence in yourself. And I think Dec was he wasn't like that in the first half. But in the second half, like I said, he much improved. And I'll give him a high 7 out of 10. Because, like I said, I think he was a catalyst for helping the team progress forward. The same with Downs. I think Downs, in terms of his ball retention and whatnot, but Dec's ability in the second half to win the ball back and then progress the ball forward, I thought that was what helped change the game for us. And I'll give him a 7 for that.
Drain Hole Hammers. Thank you very much, mate. You're an absolute gentleman and a scholar. Do you know what I mean? On this sad evening. Key to unlock Rice to go forward, playing with other players. There is room to grow and improve. He's one of our own. Declan Rice. I'll go next on Declan. Totally agree with Tom. First half, I thought he was shit. I'll be honest. I thought Fred Downs was pissing all over him, really, if I'm being truthfully honest. Second half, he kicked into gear. I don't know what it is with Declan at the minute. He's never 2 games the same. One game he's very good, another game he's bang average. And last season he was good consistently all through all the season. So it's a bit of a worry there. What did you rate him, Tom?
Rice.
Yeah.
I think based on that, high 7 based on the second half, because I did actually think he was probably one of the best players on the pitch in the second, especially the last sort of half an hour, 35 minutes.
Yeah, I will go for a 7 then. It's just like a solid 7, nothing high or low, just solid 7 for me. There's something not right there with Declan. I don't know what it is, and I'd love to find out what it is, but solid 7 tonight for him. Lucas.
I'm going to agree with Tom. I'm going to give him a high 7. And I think the only thing for me that held Declan Rice back from being an 8 is his passes weren't very great tonight. His close to intermediate passes and his one-touch passing wasn't the greatest tonight. And towards the end of the match, it was between like the 55 to like 70-minute mark. His passing just wasn't too great. His first half, his passing was solid in my opinion. But again, almost vintage Declan Rice tonight. But again, I thought he was very good. And like what Drainhole said, I think if Flynn Downs can progress fast enough, he could be a reason that we could unlock Declan Rice to a brighter future, because the way he links up with Paqueta and all the other boys with his brilliant touch passing up the pitch, like you just can't hold him back from that, in my opinion. He's on the same wavelength as 2 of our best players, and all the other players around that look to play 1-2 up the pitch. So and his defending I thought was solid tonight as well. So I'm gonna give him a high 7.
Before we move on, James, quickly to the next player, I will just quickly say West Ham football, Sean Whetstone, love him or hate him for Claret and Hugh. He's tweeted this evening, obviously, he usually has inside information. But West Ham's Premier League game against Newcastle this Sunday will be postponed due to respect to the Queen. Everton away the following Sunday is also likely to be affected, obviously, as the country enters the mourning period. So, yeah, potentially no game for at least a week and a bit. So
a month.
Well, it's going to be a month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until we see West Ham again on October the 1st, by the looks of it. Well, there's some news there, people, for you before I move on to the final players, that West Ham will not be playing no games in the near future. Moving on to this man, though. Manuel Lanzini. Fucking hell, where do I start? Tom, give me a rating for him, mate.
I love Manu. I do. I really love him. But tonight and this season, he's just not been it. It's not for me. I don't. I said it in the first half on Twitter. I just think he's a passenger. As he said, there's still glimpses now and again, like pre-Lanzini injury. But this season, he's not up to the pace of the game. He doesn't influence the game. He just doesn't offer anything into the game. I think you could sort of see when Paqueta came on, he started to at least show some influence in the game. And Lanzini just doesn't offer that anymore. Like I said, I'd keep him around the squad for another year, but I think, unfortunately, Lanzini tonight has proved that he shouldn't be starting for us anymore. And like I said, I was his biggest fan, and I will be. Like I said, pre-injury, Manu was on the same level for me as Payet. Just wasn't complimented enough. But yeah, I think unfortunately, just tonight shows why he can't start for us anymore. So I'll give him a 3. I know that's really harsh, but he just didn't do anything well. He just didn't. His ball retention was shocking. Just didn't impress. Didn't progress the ball. Didn't try and find the ball into Scamacca, which is why I'm a little bit annoyed for Scamacca. because I would like to have seen him with Paqueta's service, because obviously we haven't seen the two of them together now, but I thought Lanzini just didn't offer him anything. I'll give him a 3, and rightly was subbed at half-time.
I'm going to go next. I'm going to give him a 4. I'm going to put him in the same category as Coufal. Listen, Manny's been a great servant to West Ham, and some of the goals, as West Ham fans, we will never forget. The goal against Spurs at White Hart Lane in COVID was probably the best goal that we've ever scored at that shithole. But he's just not the same player anymore, and he should have really left in the summer window, in my opinion, to go and seek football elsewhere and not be a bench warmer at West Ham. I wasn't impressed with him tonight. I agree with everything Tom said. He didn't do anything really productive, in my opinion. And yeah, he just seemed to slow the game down for us. And when we're in free flow, he's always sort of sideways and backs, in my opinion. So yeah, I'll give him a 4 out of 10. Lucas.
Yeah, this for me is possibly one of the saddest downfalls of a player for me, because, like you said, Lanzini's brought us so many great moments, and he is an absolute diamond of a player when he is on it. And even before he got injured, he's just absolute top player. But yeah, he's just having a very bad downfall. And I feel I really don't want to go into his negatives, but we all saw him tonight. He was not very good at any facet of the match, and he was a ghost. And even when he did get the ball, it just was not good. And I'm going to give him a 4, and that could be a bit kind, but a 4 for me. I'm actually tearing up a bit saying that, because I do love the guy so much. Absolute top man.
Sorry to interject again, just quickly, just before we get back to the thing. I know we've already covered Flynn Downs, but his official stats from tonight: 90 minutes played, 70 touches, 92% pass accuracy, 56 out of 61, 3 key passes, 100% dribble success rate, 5 out of 7 ground duels won, 1 out of 1 aerial duel won, 1 tackle, 3 interceptions. Superb performance. Absolutely just unreal.
David Moyes needs to stop being stubborn and start playing the man. That's the only thing I'm going to say on that. Moving on to this man, Saïd Benrahma. I'll go first on this one. Wasn't impressed with Saïd tonight. This didn't get into the game whatsoever. I don't know what it was tonight, but the whole front three was just a bit all over the place. I think Cornet was the best of the front three, but even Scamacca was not all that, in my opinion. I'm going to give. Was he as bad as Coufal and Lanzini? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he was a little bit better. So I'm going to give him a 5. Standard 5 for me. Just standard performance from Benny, in my opinion. Lucas, take it away.
Yeah, everything you just said. Again, it was a bit like, I wouldn't say it was an exact replica of Nottingham away, but again, we had moments where we created and our buildup was decent, but the quality of our shots were absolutely horrible. And Benrahma played on the left and right in the first half. Didn't play well on either side. But again, I wouldn't say he was bad.
Yeah.
But it's an easy 5. He wasn't very good, but he wasn't terrible. Very average.
I agree, mate. And Drainholes is here. James, they haven't really played together, the front three. I agree. I do agree on that. It's the first time I think they've ever played together.
Yep.
So I agree with you there, Drainhole. I really do. Tom?
Disappointed. I'll let him off slightly. He wasn't played in the right position. I think playing him down the right was just not the move for him. I don't really ever think I've ever seen him cut in and shoot off of his left foot either, which is just strange. And seeing as Cornet, especially when he goes to cross the ball, he seems very comfortable coming back onto his left foot and with his right foot as well. So
and he can cross with both feet.
Yeah, and I think they should have been switched. I would have liked to have seen that. So I will be kind on him in that respect. But tonight he just didn't work for him. Just didn't have that intensity that, I think we needed to see. So I'll give him a 5 because I do feel a bit for him having to play out on the right tonight. I think had he been on the left, I think he maybe would have looked to create a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think though that he's helped by having Lanzini there to try and find him with the passes. I think that whole that unit it was not cohesive at all in the first half. I think if you actually have a 10 that can find Benrahma the ball, I think it's a lot better. I think if you'd had him on with Paqueta, I think it would have been miles better. And then obviously playing him on the left. But I don't think Lanzini helps either of them out because Cornet looked a different player in the second half himself, and that was after Lanzini had come off. So yeah, I'll give him a 5 tonight.
5 out of 10. Moving on to Cornet. I'll go first again. I thought he was excellent tonight. I really did. Thought he'd done some good things well. He works hard. As Tom just said, he crosses with both feet. He can check either way. Got a smack in the face. I hope he's all right. I really do. And whatever happens moving forward with football now, I do want to see Cornet starting the game. Next game West Ham do play, I want to see him starting. I want to see him. I think he's ready. I really do. I'll give him a solid 7 tonight. I thought he was decent. Lucas.
Oof. I think we're on a complete different wavelength. I didn't think he was that good tonight. I thought he was pretty mediocre, in my opinion. I do agree with Tom. He does look to cross on both feet, which is nice. But for me, just I wasn't really impressed tonight, to be honest with you. I think the cries for Jared Bowen to be benched and Cornet to start on Sunday. Well, we're not playing, but if it did happen, I don't know. I really don't. I think I'd still start Bowen because Cornet didn't impress me all that much. And this is a tough one because you said 7, and I really don't want to be that guy.
I think he was decent tonight, mate.
I'm giving him a 5.
Look, think of the attackers that he had to deal with in the first half, and then second half he was breath of fresh air. He was running for everything.
But on ball, I don't think he was that great. He didn't really create a lot. For me, I got to give him a 5. I thought he was below average, and I don't think he really cemented a case to start in front of Jared Bowen on Sunday if we did have a match.
I don't know. I'd have to disagree on that. I know Bowen played well tonight, but in the Premier he isn't. But we have to agree to disagree on that. What are you rating him?
5. A high 5.
Fuck me, bruv. Tom.
Yeah, obviously, I'll save it for another show today, obviously. But I don't necessarily disagree, but I think it's a little harsh on him, is what I would say. I think in the first half, it wasn't great. It didn't really influence anything, but again, I think that was everybody. But I thought he was a catalyst in helping us get back into that game, is what I would say. And I think he was a bit unlucky yesterday. Today even, I think he got a boot from Skamaka in the first half. He gets one in the ribs and then he gets, smashed into. And look, he was the one that, Paqueta found him for the run to leave for the penalty, So I think, again, he's another one I don't think, in Europe when he's played last few times, I think he's probably been our best player. And I think the other day, against Chelsea that he showed when he came on what he can do. I just think he was again a bit unlucky tonight with some of the service that he had.
Totally.
But I don't think he was that bad. I'll give him a 6, but I think that you can see that there's a player in there and he's an explosive player. I just don't think he was really given the chance to show some of that tonight. And like I said, I don't think it was helped by some of the players that he had around him in the second half and in the first half.
I think you worded that very well for how I felt personally. A high 5 could be a bit strong for strong of me, but I'm not changing my score, but I think I could go around to a 6.
Are you telling me, Lucas, that Maxwell Cornet played the same as Benrahma tonight, and you rated both of them a 5?
Strong 5. I think he was a bit better than Benrahma, but not noticeably, in my opinion. I do like Cornet, and I do love what he offers, but again, like Tom said, I think he was a bit of a victim of what we saw in the first half from some of our players up front.
First things first, on the story, Lucas. He's not a Yank, Joe. His name is Lucas. Right? Anyone who calls him a Yank, again, is getting barred and blocked. Just making that clear. His name is fucking Lucas.
Like I said, I don't change my score, but if I could change it, I would give him a 6. But I'm going to stick with a strong 5.
Fair enough, mate. Strong 5 it is. Let's go to this man.
I'll start on this one because I know that people are going to disagree with me, so I'll get it out of the way early.
Go ahead.
Just didn't look fit, didn't look right, still looked a bit ill for me. And I'm not blaming him tonight. I just, like, having seen what we've seen of him so far this season, especially in Europe, again, wasn't helped. He did have some service, but he didn't have the greatest service. The one chance he had in the first half, he should have absolutely buried it, I know. And I think having he not been ill and away the last couple of weeks, I think he would have buried that chance. Just didn't look right to me tonight. Usually the last times that we've seen him play, he's pressing it from the front. He's sort of ordering people about almost, or just telling them where they should be in terms of their pressing, everything else. And technically he was brilliant. Tonight there was none of that. I think, even his hold-up play, I didn't see any of that at all. And whenever the camera panned to him, he just didn't look right. So, yes, he should have buried his chance, but I'm not going to be too harsh on him tonight. I think he'll get back to
I agree with Steve
his
there.
best. So it's what I said. I'll give him a 4 tonight because, as I said, he should have buried that one-on-one chance. But I don't think in that first half it was entirely his fault, and I don't think he looked fit in the slightest. He looked like he still had the shits. I can't lie.
What did you rate him again? 5, was it?
4.
I'm going to have to agree. Yet again. I think he was just not there tonight. He was there. His body was on the pitch, but his mind and his talent was somewhere else. The chance he has, he goes through 9 times out of 10. I think he puts it in the back of the net. And the one time he
100%.
don't is tonight, and when he's just not on it. I agree. I just don't think he's fit. I just don't think he's fully recovered. So hopefully we can get him fully recovered and get him back to normal. So 4 out of 10 for me. Lucas.
A 5 for me. I don't think really any of our attackers played better than one another personally. Like I said, besides Cornet, I guess. If I had to pick one out of the front 3 that played the best, I would say Cornet. But I'm giving them all a 5 tonight just because, again, they never played with each other. I'm not saying they're not going to be good for us. We're just, like I said, my ratings are strictly on the match tonight, not going forward or the potential I see in them. But he's got to bury that chance. I thought his link-up play was decent, but again, not inspiring enough for me to give him a 6. But yeah, a 5. That all the attack.
Did neither of you two think though? Whenever the cameras panned to him, it just didn't look well. Like genuinely, just didn't look right.
Yeah, he could still be a bit ill, but
he looked drained, mate. He looked drained of energy.
He did.
Right, that's what he looked like. Right, let's go to the subs. Lucas, fire the subs at me, mate.
Okay, so we've got Jared Bowen who came on. We got Jared Bowen, Michael Antonio, and Paqueta who came on at halftime.
So let's start off with Bowen. Excellent. I think the penalty's a great pen. I think his work rate was there.
Quickly, why has he not been taking penalties for us? Why has he not been taking penalties?
He could be the one now.
That is literally the roof of the net. That is what you want in a penalty.
And he was confident and all.
Why has he not been taking penalties?
Remember this year, he had to wait a hell of a long fucking time for that. Like, he was waiting about 8-9 minutes. It's got to be. It's quite a long time. He was waiting there since the incident started, or finished, to the time he actually took the penalty. He was waiting a long time, and he buried that penalty brilliantly. Excellent. I'm going to give him, as my lights go out, I'm going to give him a high 7, just not an 8. I think he was excellent influence, top class, high 7 for me. Lucas.
Easy 7. He came on. He impacted the match. He scored a brilliant penalty, and I thought his dribbling was very good, cutting inside, dribbling in general. And listen, I'm not gonna say like I said with Cornet, he didn't impress me enough that he should start over Bowen if we did have a game on Sunday. But I'm not gonna say that Jared Bowen like cemented himself for Sunday, because at the end of the day, we played a Romanian club.
Yeah,
we got to remember who we played at the end of the day. So he did play well, great penalty, lively, easy 7. But I still don't think he deserves to start on Sunday. But from what I saw today, strictly, and from my opinions, I would still start him on Sunday if we had a match.
Right. Let's rattle through these. Paqueta, give me a rating, lads.
Hang on, I didn't even give my rating for Bowen.
Oh, you bastard! Sorry, mate. I'm fucking going too far. Go ahead.
I'd say 7 for me. If there was one player that needed a goal tonight, it was Bowen.
Yeah.
And he did. He smiled after he scored, which we haven't seen for weeks. So, yeah, a lot livelier tonight for me at 7.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think he was there tonight. He was there.
As soon as you forgot me, I'm doing Paqueta next.
Go ahead.
I'll give him a 7 as well, just simply because I think he changed the game a bit in the second half. I did think there was about 3 or 4 times passing wasn't there. Made a few misplaced passes. But I think overall, I think the team just looked a lot more confident when he was on the ball. And I think you can tell by his presence over Lanzini, aerially from goal kicks and stuff. When the ball was played long, he was there and he was winning the ball. I think his passing range is the main thing for me. There was a couple of times that he played the ball out to, there was one to Cornet, I think, that he tried to show the defender inside, and Cornet just missed it. There was one for Antonio where he picked a pass for about 2 or 3 people on his left foot and sent him down the line. He'll come good. I just think the only thing was a couple of times his passing was a bit off. But again, his ball was the ball that started the comeback off into Cornet. So I'll give him a 7 tonight for me.
I'll give him a high 6. It's not a 7 for me. He done some good things well, but it's going to take time. I agree with you. It's going to take time. He's going to come good. I do like this kid, I must admit. I think he's going to be next level for us. So a high 6 is not a 7 for me. Lucas.
For me, I thought his play alone was about a 5 or a high 5, but his influence, him being on the pitch, was very big for us. So in the end, I'm going to give him a 6. Some of his passing needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but that could be because he's still not fully bedded in with the lads. So I'm going to give him a pass on that. But his presence alone is very big for us, and I think it lifts us a bit to play a bit more positive.
I think him coming on was the main reason. I think as well that Declan Rice himself played better, because I think that Paqueta and Rice, I see them being on that same wavelength. I know you mentioned it earlier. I think seeing them together, you can tell that they're two that want to really progress the ball forward and find that killer pass. And I think he will come good. Like I said, I don't. When it comes down to it, he's a Brazil starting number 10 for a reason. And somebody said it in the chat there about Paqueta's scenes pass that the rest of the team can't see yet. I think he's going to be one of them players that can make that pass that you shouldn't be able to. I look at that when I see De Bruyne every time. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination comparing to, but players like that with a passing ability can see balls that aren't there. I think of that pass that he played up at Newcastle the other week to Bernardo Silva. Again, I think he'll be absolutely fine. And I think he was the reason we came back in. So I'll give him a 7.
Everything Tom said, and I give him a 6.
Right, 6 out of 10. For you, Mikel Antonio. I thought he was an handful when he came on. I thought he pushed that sort of defender back and put him on his arse a few times. High 6 again for me. It's not a 7.
Oh, Jesus! Wow, okay. I did not expect that.
Let me go real quick. I'm gonna give him a 7. I thought he worked very hard tonight.
What am I hearing?
And he was influential. Right. 7.
I thought it was good, Tom. Don't get me wrong. He scored the goal at the end, but like, it wasn't like fucking. He wasn't everywhere. Bowen was doing more than him. In all fronts.
What?
Go on.
Oh, no, an 8 minimum easily. He was incredible when he came on. He, again, another one that realistically changed the game. what Scamacca couldn't offer in the first half in terms of that pressing of the defenders, making their life difficult. He just destroyed that defender. Look at the defender in the first half that
goal
ended up
and
having to
assist
come
tonight.
off. He bullied him into coming off the pitch. He couldn't handle him anymore. And that's what we need from Antonio. Just trying to get the ball around the defender and run. Do the things that you do well, which is that.
I'm not going to lie to you. Antonio was in the mix for me for man of the match performance.
For me, when he came on, he caused them problems that they were not ready for. And I think that was the difference between the fit Scamacca and an unfit Scamacca, and seeing Antonio when he came on. I thought he, for me, was... I think Downs was the man of the match. And I think Antonio was just under Downs. I think he was absolutely brilliant when he came off the bench.
Well, who's better, Antonio or Bowen?
Antonio.
I disagree there. I think Bowen was
that's a tough
one.
one.
A live wire. Yeah. Jane Hull, when West Ham do play again, I do have a chance. I will sort it out of you, mate. 100%. I really will. So you've said, so what have you rated him, Tom? Antonio?
A high 8.
Blimey, mate.
High 8.
Didn't see that one coming, but yeah, we move. Pablo Fornals, Tom.
Well, you 6 and a 7, weren't you?
Yeah.
7 for me. I think he was again. I think when you need to get back into the game, and I said this to Rebecca during the game, I think he offers a pressing ability and an intensity that none of our other midfielders can press, especially from those positions. His work rate, when it needs to, goes up a level for me, and I think that is infectious to the rest of the team. So even if he didn't have, he didn't create a massive chance or he didn't do anything spectacular, I think
he had 2 shots. He had 2 shots on target, though.
Did he?
Yeah.
I'll take it back then.
Two,
but I think for me, the main thing I take from it.
He had 2 shots that where he made the keeper work twice. From what I remember,
yes, he hit one.
That was a very good shot and a very good save from the goalkeeper.
That was very much a la Mbappe, where he fakes to go to the far post but scores at the near post. And
that's it. Yeah,
he was unlucky with that. So yes, I completely forgot about that. But again, I think for that type of a thing, where you need to get back into a game, I think his work rate is infectious, and I think he was a 7 out of 10 tonight. Maybe even a high 7 for me.
I agree. High 7. I can't give him a. Listen, he ain't one of my most favourite players. This is coming from me, and high 7 for me. I thought he made the goalkeeper work with him 2 efforts. He run the bar. He got stuck in. He was a pest, and that's what we want of him. When Pablo Fornals has shots on target and he's making the goalkeeper work, that is what I want to see from Pablo. 100%. When I don't see that, I just think he just does the basics very, very well, but there's no end product. So for me, I'll give him a high 7. Lucas.
Easy 7. Could be argued one of the most impactful players on the match. Well, obviously because of the substitutions that came on, but very good tonight. Got the assist on the last goal with a very good pass. Work rate is elite at bare minimum, and he just changed the game when he came on, and he easily could have had a goal and assist. We could have won 4-1. Like I said, his one shot he had, very good shot, but goalkeeper equally just as good as a save. So easy 7. Easy
7. Craig Dawson gets a 10.
10. Yes, 10.
10's all round for Craig Dawson because he has returned, mate. He didn't leave us. He stayed with us.
Did you see Ogbonna's smile when he came on?
Oh, beautiful.
It was fantastic to see him.
Easy rating there for Craigie Dawson.
I have not heard as big a reception as that as when Paqueta came on after Liverpool when he come back from his injury in 2015. Do you remember that, James? When McCarthy snapped him when he come back for Liverpool and he got the ovation off the bench and he just did a cheeky roulette in the middle of the pitch. Dawson headed that ball out and the crowd went wild. It was fantastic to see.
Things you love to see.
100%. Last 2 ratings of the evening. Referee. Tom, I'll ask you this. Was we lucky to get that penalty, yes or no?
I think that's going to be a contentious one with a lot of people. For me, I thought he got in just ahead of the keeper. I think the keeper got there with his hands and he was in position. But I think
he whiffed.
Cornet got there just before, and I mean it was centimeters away, I think, but I think it was the right decision for me because I think he did clatter him. Yes, he made a play for the ball. I think it's very similar to the Mendy thing the other day because, like, if I know it's different positioning, but if Jared Bowen had fallen over the other day, it would have been a penalty. Yeah. So I think it's similar with this tonight. I think he didn't make a play for the ball, and he did make a play for the ball. It was done with good intentions, but I think Cornet got there just before he did.
I think that's in the Prem. We don't get that. I think it goes the other way. I think the referee gets. Yeah, I really do, mate. I don't
think we get a penalty or a foul. I agree with James.
Yeah, I think. I will
say I haven't seen all of the angles for it because I was doing dinner at that point. But apparently, I may need to go watch it back. Is what I would say.
Yeah, I just feel if that's in the Prem, we ain't getting that. There's no way that we're getting that. Do you know what I'm saying? Lewis, hope you're well, mate. You're right, lads. Sorry I haven't been here for a while. Problems with epilepsy, but I'm all good now. I hope you're all good, mate. Lewis is a member of the E20 bandwagon. Listen, I'm going to say this about the ref quickly before I hand it over to Lucas. I thought he pulled up a few fouls or niggly ones. I think the Emerson one's not a yellow card. I'll give him a 4 out of 10. That's being kind. That's being kind. I think it was just okay. It's just for me. Do you know what I'm saying? As I go pitch back again, and we're back. So 4 out of 10 for me. Lucas,
can I quickly say though before Lucas comes in, what someone has said there? I'll shut up.
Go on.
Go ahead, Tom.
I think I will give him the benefit of the doubt because I completely agree with what Scarborough Hammer said. Shout out Scabby Cabbage, Scarborough. Used to play my cricket there all the time. For me, the game without VAR made it so much better. And I think he allowed it to flow at times. Yes, he made some questionable calls, but that was always what made football before VAR. And I think we've become so accustomed to having VAR, not having it almost felt like a breath of fresh air. Why it's not in a European competition in a group stage to me is absolutely mad. I don't know.
Yeah.
That for me is daft as anything. But I will say it was a breath of fresh air to have a game without VAR tonight and just go on along with it, as Charlie keeps asking me about my bloody top 7 pasties or pastries.
Yeah. I hear you, mate. I hear you. What'd you rate the ref? I'll use lads quickly.
I'm going to give him
a 6.
I'm going to give him a 6 for getting the penalty call correct. But you know me, I give them a 5. That's the most I'll give him, but I'll give him a 6 for getting the penalty right because the goalkeeper did whiff and miss the ball, so it's got to be a penalty.
Final rating of the evening, David Moyes. Tom, I'll let you go first.
First half, 2. I think it proved or it showed when certain players come on that they probably should be starting. Second half, 8 out of 10. I think made the right subs at the right time, knew it wasn't good enough, knew he had to change the team. Did that, made some good subs at the right time, so I can't knock him for that. I think the system, it was fine. It was our usual system. I just don't think that he started the right team tonight. I know he wanted to give him the rotation and stuff like that, but I just don't think that like Scamacca was fit, let's say. I'd also say, as again, massive props for starting Flynn Downs. Yes, it may have been probably, tough in his mind, but I think he got the game for Flynn to start was the right game tonight, and I think he done that well. So I guess average that probably will work out as like a 6 out of 10, I think, or a 7 out of 10. So made some good things, did some bad things.
Yeah. Lucas.
I'm gonna be a bit conservative. I'm gonna give him a 7. I want to give him an 8 actually because, again, I thought the lineup was good tonight. The players didn't really show up, in my opinion, especially the attacking third. So I don't know if you can really put that on Moyes because I do think he set up right. And what he did at halftime, no nonsense, master stroke of substitutions that proved pivotal for us. So actually, I'm not going to be conservative. I'm going to give him an 8 because his substitutions won us the match, and yeah, I thought he did well tonight.
Whatever he does, he has got to get it into those players though that start the game. And I think what annoyed me is that Deck was in the tunnel and he was telling them you need the intensity from minute 1, and it just wasn't. And I don't know what he's got to do, but we have to start. Whenever we play our next Prem game, we've got to start on the front foot and we've got to press and we've got to show that intensity, because tonight we got away with it, but in a Premier League game, we're not going to, and we haven't in some games.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I'm going to go. I think a 7's too high. I'm being honest. Fuck it. I'll go 7. Just a 7 for me. I'll make this short and sweet. I think the first half he was absolutely shite. I thought the personnel was wrong. I think the only thing he done well was pick Flynn Downs in that first half. Second half, he makes the subs, he changes the game, and we end up winning the game 3-1. So I've got to give him credit there. I'm worried. I will say that. I'm worried about this sort of lack of intensity from minute 1. It seems like it takes us a half to get going, and that's not good enough, even against our. Like, we should be coming out the tracks, all guns blazing. We should have 3 past them before they score 1. And it takes us to half time to change it around. But giving credit where credit's due, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. We got the job done just though today. We wasn't great, but can you see that reflecting what happened previous to the game? Possibly, but we will see. We will see what happens there.
Can I quickly, because there's a couple of people that have asked. Rebecca is fine. She just had a bit of a faint the other night, and she had a bit of a mare. She fainted and it hit the cupboard. She went into hospital, but she's had a transfusion to get her iron levels back up. She's fine. She's resting. She's okay. And also, Trevor Sinclair, please never ever show your face ever again at West Ham. And then I think we're done.
Yeah, I want to get onto that. I want to get onto that quickly. Sam, I don't know why you've been blocked, mate, but I do apologise. If someone can tell me why Sam was blocked on this channel, I would like to hear it. But if I've done it by mistake, I do apologise, Sam, if you're still watching or you haven't fucked off. So, yeah. Listen, I want to get on to Trevor Sinclair before we go.
7 swear words from James tonight.
I know, mate. I'm going to donate to charity. Give us your thoughts on Trevor Sinclair. I can't believe that man. He was a hero of mine. Yeah, I'm going to say this quickly. He was an absolute hero of mine growing up
as well.
Right. Loved the geezer, yeah. Loved everything about him. The way he played for West Ham, everything. But tonight, he's become a stranger to me now. Absolute stranger. When he's coming out and spilling all that sort of... How can I word it, Tom, politely? What was he really spilling?
I think he had an agenda to say, and I just don't think it was the time or the place to say it. And especially a week ago, or a couple of years ago even, he was saying how fragile and well the Queen looked. So clearly a lot's changed for him in the last 2 years. But I think it'll be the last time you see him on TalkSport. He was sacked from the BBC for the stuff about racism a few years ago. And I think tonight it just showed he's just... I don't know.
No
I think it was just a bit of a shock for me, but I just
no class, is it?
Listen, everyone's got their opinions on the Queen, right or wrongly, but I think there's a time and a place to air those opinions. And 30 minutes after she's died, it's probably not going to win you many friends. I'd say that much. I agree. That's the polite way of putting it, I think, instead of saying what you probably think you want to say about him.
Yeah.
If anyone's seen it, I'm not going to mention it because I think it's not right to do so, but just go on Twitter and have a look. TalkSport have even responded to his tweet this evening saying that they don't agree with his opinions, etc. So,
yeah, I agree. Listen, and I'm going to say this before I go in regards to the Queen. It's such a sad day for the UK, everyone in the UK, everyone around the world, really, for what that woman done for this country. And what I liked about her, and some people ain't really royalists, but she was always about family. And through COVID, she was about family and keeping together and marching on together, basically, as one. And she's going to be sadly missed. So it's a sad day for the UK, everyone up and down the land. And, the UK is going into a different era now. And it's, as I say, it's truly tragic, in my opinion. Listen, I'm going to leave it at that. I want to thank Lucas and Tom for coming on tonight. I didn't know whether to do a player rating tonight after what had happened. So I thought, you know what, just do it, get it done. And it's gone on a bit longer than I expected, but it is what it is. Anyway, Tom, thank you very much. Lucas, thank you very much. And listen, guys, rest in peace to Her Majesty, indeed. Family, listen, life's too short. Yeah, just be yourselves and enjoy life because you never know when what's around the corner. Anyway, good night.